Here's a full breakdown of what I think should be in the new Fable game. The Fable reboot is set to release this year, and we don't have much information on it just yet, but Xbox has announced that there's an in-depth reveal coming soon that will give us a lot of info on the game, so make sure to follow and subscribe because I'll be breaking all that down once it comes out. Fable is my all-time favorite gaming franchise, and I've been a massive fan for the last 20 years. My excitement is through the roof, so I wanted to cover anything and everything that I think should be in the new game. I'm going to cover all kinds of things in this video, from combat mechanics to world design and ambient music, so lock in, nerds, we're going deep. And if you haven't played any Fable games yet, first of all, what the f are you doing? Get on that right away. It's one of, if not the best video game trilogies ever made. Of course, that's just my opinion, but I am correct.
What? Yes, I am right.
That being said, the new Fable is a full reboot. They're starting from scratch, so you don't need to have played any of the previous games to enjoy it. For anyone new and interested in what the hell Fable is about, here's a quick overview. The original Fable games are an action RPG set in a fantasy world called Ambient, where your choices, good or evil, actually change your character, the world around you, and how people treat you. As far as I know, it was one of the first games to have these type of choices and a morality system. At least it was the first of its kind that I played. They're known for dark humor, morally gray decisions, and a world that reacts to how you play rather than just the quests that you complete. It's also extremely heavy on adventure and exploration, and that's the main thing I love about it. I'm going to break this down into categories and then dive into each one as we go. The categories are foundations of the game, combat, world reactivity, and finally adventure, aka exploration and secrets. This is a full and lengthy list, but if I've missed something, I'm very active in my comments, so feel free to tell me what you want to see in the game. Let's get the obvious ones out of the way, the foundations. I'm going to fly through these because the foundations are non-negotiable. They're what make Fable feel like Fable, and I'll be referencing them throughout the rest of the video. At the core of it all is choices. Choices affecting the world around you, as well as affecting your character's appearance, which leads me to character customization. This became more and more prevalent as the franchise progressed. We also need a morality system, good and evil alignment, and renown, which is basically a fame meter. Fable has always been about the choices you make and the reputation you cultivate. As the games progressed, they added your choices and playstyle changing more than just your character's appearance. It will also affect how NPCs treat you and react to you, as well as shopkeepers' prices for goods and items. These are staples to the game of Fable, and I highly doubt they'll be left out, but I feel like they need to be mentioned because they absolutely need to be included. So with that baseline set, let's get into it. Now, the rest of these are my personal opinion, but I have been discussing the new Fable game with my community for literal years, and they've helped me come up with a lot of these choices as well, so shout out to the Rock Squad. Next category is combat. First thing I think that needs to come back to the Fable franchise is more magic options. Fable 1 had about 20 magic spells you could cast, as well as some of those spells being locked behind your character's good or evil alignment. If you're pure, you can't use the evil spells. If you're too evil, you can't use the good spells. Fable 2 and 3's magic mechanics were good and I enjoyed them, but you were limited to 4 or 5 spell options. I'd like to get back to the Fable 1 style and have a lot more spells to choose from, while taking a note from Fable 2 and 3 and allowing us to combine spells as well. Next is armor rating. This was a big part of the original Fable, and it was since removed for Fables 2 and 3. Clothing in Fable 2 and 3 was just that, clothing. It had no impact on your character's armor, protection, power, or magic. I like the styles you could choose in Fable 2 and 3, but nothing stood out to me as heroic, and that's what the whole game is about. In Fable 1, you could dress in mage's clothing, which boosted your magic capabilities, or armor that would protect you from damage against stronger enemies. All your clothing in Fable 1 also had an impact on your morality. If you were a squeaky clean hero, you didn't want to wear the chainmail armor or assassin's outfit because it would affect your good alignment. I miss this feature and I hope it comes back for the new game. Next up is weapon morphing. Just like in Fable 3, I would like our weapons to change and morph with good or evil alignment, as well as our decisions and behavior in the game. But I also want this to extend to the armor. Now, to be clear, not all weapons and armor should be like this. It would be cool to have like a hero sword and hero armor that changes depending on your good or evil behavior and choices. But we should still have other weapons, armor, or clothing that is not affected by any of this. Along with this, I'd like weapon upgrading to come back. Fable 3 had a cool system where if you met certain milestones, like taking out 50 bandits, the weapon would upgrade, giving you more damage overall or to specific enemies. Next category is world reactivity. Fable only works when Ambient feels like it's reacting to you even when you're not looking. As the story progresses, the world changes with your decision. I remember specifically in Fable 3, there's an entire section of the map that you could not access unless you made the decision to help someone repair a bridge, and if you did not invest, then you could never access that area once you passed a certain point in the game. As well as in Fable 2, you could choose to invest in the new up-and-coming town or deny the investment. If you deny it, then later in the game, the town becomes a lawless slum with criminals everywhere, no authority, and dilapidated homes. But if you did invest, it became a beautiful town with a thriving economy later in the game. This adds replayability, and I love it. That brings us to dynamic weather. I mentioned this in my short video, so I'm just going to reiterate it here. I think having changing weather across the map would add a whole additional level of immersion to the game. Imagine walking through your home village and it starts raining. I would love it. There could even be weather indicators over the interactive map. That leads us to the interactive map. They should definitely bring that back, from the Sanctuary in Fable 3, maybe even the Sanctuary itself. I love this addition to the game, and having the interactive map feels like a must now. Then we need real estate. This almost goes under the foundations category because it's been in every game, but it got more and more intricate as the games went on. I want to bring back what Fable 3 did and allow customization of the homes and shops, and even take it further to make it more detailed. Also, can we please get a repair all properties option? It's wild that you had to visit every single building individually to fix damage caused by Albion's most destructive tenants. Then there's the dog. Introduced in Fable 2, the dog became an instant staple. We need a lovable companion that helps us in combat and leads us to secrets and treasures in our adventure. It's been confirmed that the new Fable will include a horse, and that's great, but if it's only for transportation, then we absolutely need the dog back. Next, we've got the ability to become royalty or ruler. This was the main idea behind Fable 3, so it's a new addition and not exactly a must for the new game, and maybe the new game can include it, but not necessarily have the entire story revolve around going after the crown. I think it would be cool to be able to choose between becoming the ruler of Albion or becoming the guild master at the Heroes Guild. Romance also needs to return. It's always been part of the franchise, but Fable 2 and 3 expanded it with families and relationship specific quests, and I'd love to see that continue. Our final category is adventure, aka exploration and secrets. These are pretty much foundations as well, but they have varied throughout the franchise, so we just need to make sure they're in the new game at some capacity. Demon doors and silver keys. I would be surprised if these were not included. They were in all three Fables, so it's safe to say they'll be in the new one. If they're not, then I'll consider it a pretty big fail for the new game. Gargoyles and Gnomes. These were introduced in Fable 2 and carried into Fable 3. They were some of my favorite additions. There was something to collect throughout your adventure, but they were also hilarious, constantly insulting you so you knew that one was nearby. I'd love to see these return, or something new that fills that same role. Ambient music. Again, this is a foundation and it will no doubt be in the game, but my point is it needs to be as epic and beautiful as the previous games. The ambient music was absolutely essential to cultivating the vibe of adventure and exploration. And finally, that brings us to the adventure and exploration aspect. Fable is what introduced me to open world exploration in gaming, and whether or not you like all three of them equally, one thing they all did very well was giving you that sense of adventure. The feeling that there was something just off the path waiting to be found, as well as secrets that will give you the biggest sense of reward when you finally discover them. If you made it this far into the video, I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to watch. Those are my must-haves for the new Fable reboot, but I'm curious to see what you think. What did I miss?
What did I miss?
Is there something you wanted added, or something here that you'd rather not see make it into the game? Let me know in the comments. I actually read them, and a lot of these ideas came straight from conversations with you all. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe, because as soon as Xbox drops new footage at the Developer Direct, I'll be breaking it all down, what it confirms, what it changes, and what it means for the final game. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next adventure.